I live in all the right places? Okay. Right, I'm just waiting for everything to connect. It's always that moment where you're like, please connect, please connect, please connect. Instagram is not connecting. Oh, it is now. Well, hey, we're off. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Hello, hello, hello. How is everything looking? How's everyone doing? I'm aware I need to now move that over. I'm just going to zoom out real quick. Just make sure everything looks good. Let me know. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? The iPad is back in business. It's back in business. We are doing some iPad teaching today. So let me know, anyone who is watching live, pop a little comment in and let me know if you can hear me okay, you can see me okay. We're going to be talking about email lists today. We are going to be talking about money. We are going to be talking about how much money things should be getting you. Hello, Laura. How are you? Hello, hello. We're going to be talking all about all those good things today. Now, all okay on Insta. Thank you, Truly Gifts. Afternoon, Material Mums. Afternoon. How are you doing? Hello, hello. Brilliant. Okay, brilliant. Looks good on Facebook. Looks good on Instagram. Awesome. Material Mum says excited about this. Well, it's going to be a good one. I really like talking about email lists. And I did this live about 2 months ago, but it was so helpful for a lot of you. We had so many questions, so I thought I would run it back, and I thought I would do it again, because at this point, probably within your business, you have probably been told a bunch of things that you need to do. That could be, you need to do reels, you need to go live, you need to post more products, you need to do this, you need to do that. And probably at this point, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna do anything new until I know that it's actually gonna affect my bottom line. It's actually gonna make me more money. Okay, so that is what this live is basically going to be. We are going to be talking about email lists. Okay, now please don't be afraid of that. Please don't see like this up the top and go, oh, okay, yeah, email list. Like, I don't know. It sounds techie to me. I don't know if I want to be involved with that. What I would suggest you do is kind of treat this as like the taster. Treat this as like, okay, I've heard that maybe running an email list is a good idea. I've heard that like I am, really struggling with this, and this. I've kind of heard that email list is like the way to go. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to implore you, I feel like, to whenever you hear someone say something new, for you to be like, I need to make sure that it's worth my time, effort, energy for me to do it. Okay. All right, let's have a little look. 2 seconds. Right, let me just, am I still live on Instagram? It's just on a thing. Hang on, live video. Oh, I am still live. Okay, good. Is it still showing okay on Instagram? It just did a thing. It just like came up like refresh. I was like, what? Is it still good on Instagram? God, all this going on. Before I start talking, let me know. Hi, Ria. I can see you on Facebook. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad I finally joined the live again. Hi, Steph. Hi, Ria. How are you? Am I still live? Right. 2 seconds, guys. There is a just something I have to do really quickly. This is a problem when you're like doing this sort of stuff alone. You're like, God damn. Right. 2 seconds. Sorry, guys. I'm just having to, I think there's a spammer in the chat, so I'm just like having to do that at the same time. You're live on Instagram. Okay, good. Team, I've just had to block a spammer. A couple of people have said that he's been like messaging people, so I've just had to block them while I'm live. Anyway, right, back to it. So this is really where I wanted to chat about email. Okay. Now, the thing with email lists is that for a lot of you, you might be like, how am I going to grow my email list? How am I going to get people to sign up? I get the whole email list thing, but I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I'm what I'm going to do first is I just want to kind of like reverse that a little tiny bit. And I really want to talk about why. Okay. So, what color should we do this in? Should we do this in this color? Okay. So email list. Okay. Let's talk about it. Okay. Because with your email list, it is actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. I'm going to reverse that. Okay. 2 seconds. I'm still getting used to this. All right. So email list, and underneath it, it is predictable. Okay. My handwriting is terrible. It is owned, and it is boring. Worth it though. So that is email list. Nancy says, where's Jane? She's under the velvet butterfly. She is here. Little tinkers, I know. Hi Suzanne, how are you? Hi Patty, hi Kay. Hello. Yeah, I've just had to block a person because they were like spamming, so I was just like having to do that live. So with email lists, these are the reasons why you should consider having one. Okay, so in 2026, it's no longer okay and I guess worth it to just be relying on one source of traffic, whether that be Etsy, whether that be you're relying on Google, whether that be you're relying on social media, whether that be whatever, right? It's no longer the way to go really to rely on one traffic source, okay? Because as you guys know, you get traffic, they see your shop, that's a shop if you didn't know, and then they buy, okay? That is how your business runs, okay? However, if you're not getting traffic or you're relying on one source of traffic and then all of a sudden things change, algorithms, whatever, what happens is you don't get the traffic, they never reach your shop and they never buy. Okay, so this is why I've been talking a lot. Oh my God, go back. I should just use the eraser, but I use that instead. This is why I've been harping on so much in the beginning of this year about traffic, about driving traffic, because to be honest with you, a lot of issues can be solved with getting more traffic to your shop. Okay, having a lot of traffic can actually mask and hop over a lot of like conversion issues, a lot of like, oh, you know, maybe this is spelt wrong, maybe that's turning people off. The more traffic you get, the more chance of sales that you have, and also it kind of patches over a lot of holes within your business, right? So having more traffic and having more traffic sources, aka email list being one of them, is a really good idea, because it's no longer really the play to just rely on Etsy or just rely on not on the high street or just rely on Amazon or rely on whatever. Okay. I'm doing my first Work With Me live tonight, bricking it but excited. Yes, I credit you with giving me the kick up the backside to get my email list going months ago. Love that, Rhea. I'm wishing you luck on your Work With Me live. The first one's always a bit like, oh, but then by the time you've done 5, you're going to be an absolute like queen at it. Okay, so that's email lists, right? Now, with social media, I love socials, and I do truly think that every handmade business should have some kind of social media presence. The main reason being is that, I don't know if you guys knew, but like something ridiculous, like 80% of people who find you, they will go onto Google and they will type in your brand name Insta, your brand name Facebook, to suss you out. I don't know whether you've seen that stat, but actually, like, it's quite a big deal. That the shopper habit now is that people are going to Google, going on your socials and sussing you out first. And it's really one of those things where it's just another avenue to make sure that you're bringing people in with. So I love socials. I think everybody needs some kind of social media presence. However, the downside is that it can be very unpredictable. And if you've ever like been in 200 real view jail, you know what I'm on about here. It's also borrowed. Okay. And also it's very much brand based / vibes based. If you respond to a comment in a way that turns your target audience off, for example, people are going to see that and go, oh, not really the vibe, right? So I'd say kind of this is also social media / Etsy, because Etsy is also can be unpredictable at times. This is Etsy on its own as a traffic source, and it's also borrowed. So those are the kind of two real big reasons why I'm always like, we need more than one traffic source, right? Is this all making sense? Okay. So also, what I have seen go up over the years, because this used to be a lower number, but for every £1 that you spend, let me do that in a better way. Hang on. For every £1 that you spend on social media, it's estimated that you're going to get £36 back. Okay. So for small e-commerce brands, especially handmade businesses, email is usually driving, can't spell today, is usually driving 30 to 40% of your revenue. Now, the other good thing about email is that if you have your own website, you immediately have that traffic source. Whereas I'm sure a lot of you, the main reason why you started on Etsy is because you were like, I'm going to get sales because it's a built-in traffic source. That is right. And I love Etsy for that. But they do charge you fees for that. Like, that is the reason why their fees are like, I always say account for 20 to 25% of your sales revenue for fees. And I think at some point, every single handmade business owner is like, can I do my own website? Can I drive traffic for myself so that I'm not paying fees from Etsy, right? So this is a really interesting stat to look at when you're considering that and you're thinking, hey, okay, yeah, actually. Also, sales conversion rates, right? Conversion rates. Does anyone want to have a guess at what email sits at and what Instagram? Oh, what happened? Oh, I just did the thing. And what Instagram sits at. Have a little guess. In terms of conversion rates, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? A customer said to me the other day that too many emails from a company makes them hit the unsubscribe button. Yeah, I think like Nancy's right. Underneath, Nancy says, I agree, but at the same time, if they are well written and interesting, I will read them. Yeah. And like, I also think as well, like, people will only sign up to an email list if they are interested in the topic that you are providing them on. Okay. So if you like sell candles, right? And then all of a sudden you start emailing and talking about like jewelry, people are going to be a bit confused and they are going to be a bit like, what? I think, yeah, like if you're sending 2 to 3 emails a day outside of a very specific set of like rules, that is going to be considered too much. But I certainly do not think a couple of emails a week at minimum is too much at all. And at the end of the day, if they want to unsubscribe, they can. Like, you shouldn't ever be concerned about people hitting the unsubscribe button. It's a conversion rate like anything else. The bigger your list, naturally, the more amount of people are gonna like leave, which is fine. It's like if you are on Etsy and you have people favorite your items, you don't get a ping every time someone unfavorites your shop or your items, right? So it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's very natural for people to opt in or opt out of receiving emails from you or pings from Etsy because they favorited one of your items or your shop or whatever. It's pretty well the same thing. Please do not ever see it or feel it as like a rejection. I know it's very, very easy to feel like, oh, why have they unsubscribed? Why are they not wanting to get my emails anymore? Are my emails crap? Are people not really reading them? But the thing that you have to remember is every list has an unsubscribe rate. Ours is 0.18%, right? And we send emails multiple times a week. Easy. And I think the main reason for this is that we always lead, oh my God, why do I keep doing that? We always lead with value. We get vulnerable, or I get vulnerable because I write them. And also we give value by bringing tutorials in as well. So like that is how we get this rate, is because we're adding to them. We're adding that. Okay. We're not just being like, buy this. The same rules with like social media really is that like you are very much like, you don't want to be showing up every single minute of every single day selling stuff. Okay. So going back to this then, what do we reckon is the conversion rate expressed as a percentage of people that will view an Instagram post versus buy versus people who will open and read an email and then buy? What's our guesses? Let me know. Okay, I don't really know about Made Me. The problem is with, I get this question a lot. I really do. And I'm going to be honest, there are hundreds of different places where you can sell your crafts online. Okay. The problem has and always will be, is that company big enough to spend the millions a year required to drive enough eyeballs to their site, to drive enough eyeballs to your shop? Okay. You can list on all these different platforms. There's Made Me, there's Folksy, there's so many different names. You can list on those until the cows come home. But the core question is, are they big enough? Do they have the budget and the power behind them to be able to drive the millions of buyers every single day to their site? 100,000 even, you know? Oh, okay, we have some numbers, right? 3% Insta and 7% email. You a little bit higher than that. You've gone a bit higher. That is 70-30. I don't know, but I'd say email is higher. Okay. 80%. Right. So expressed as a percentage, Instagram is 1%. So roughly 1% of people that will see your stuff on Instagram will buy. Okay, now bearing in mind, that's got to be a bracket. Depends on what it is you sell, depends on how engaged you are on social media. So that could be like 0 to 1%. Okay, email sits at 3 to 5% of people that will receive your emails will buy. Okay, now again, a lot of this depends on stuff. Okay, depends on how many emails you send, how well your emails are written, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So this tells us something really, really important, okay? This tells us that we do not need a big list. What this tells us is, and I'm not going to do the maths on this because my maths is crap, but what this says is that let's say you have 1,000 people on Instagram, you could get away with having 200 people on your email list and you're going to get the same sales. Okay. So it's really, really important. Oh, good guess. 1% Insta, 4% email. Good guess. Good guess. So what that says is that you do not need a massive list. Okay. So the three numbers really that I'd be looking at as a business owner, I'd be like, okay, I'd be looking at this and being like, yeah, okay. I'd be looking at this and going, yeah, okay. And I'd be looking at this and going, okay, well, I'm sold. As a business owner, if someone was able, let me just zoom in. If someone was able to present me with those numbers, I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, I definitely want this thing, you know? So in terms of myth busting, right? So let's just go through. And if you have any questions, let me know. Let me know. I've been writing and sending emails for 10 plus years. Email has always been one of my favorite ways to drive traffic because the people on that list are much warmer. They're much more like, it's not like some random lady scrolling on Instagram. She comes across your post and she's like, oh, okay, I wasn't on Instagram to buy anything. These are people who are on your list because they love your products, especially if you grow your list by sending people who have bought from you a QR code, a business card, a message following up saying, hey, like, you've bought this. Do you want to join my list? Scan this QR code, type in this link, whatever. Especially if you've filled your list with potential people who are interested in buying or people who have bought from you before, you know, like, those numbers are going to be so much higher. This probably for you then goes up to like 7% roughly. Because if you are building your list based off of people who are engaged, this can only go up. And actually, I'd say if it's filled with previous buyers, that's got to go up to 10% easy. And I'm lowballing these. Like, I'm not, you know, giving you what I would expect. It's more of like the low ball. So when you're looking at it like that, you're like, okay, maybe I don't need a lot of subscribers. Maybe if I had like 100 people, that actually would work really, really well. Maybe if I got up to 200, maybe if I got up to 300, 400, 500. So that's the first reason why I love it. I think the second reason is that you're literally typing words on a screen and you're making sales. That, I think, is so amazing. Like, that, I think, is just awesome because you don't have to worry about reels. You don't have to worry about this or this, or you don't have to worry about any of that. It's very, very easy. And that's one of my favorite things about it, is that it's just so easy. Okay. So I want to bust some myths now. So myth number one that I want to talk about is this. Okay. No subscribers, or I don't have a big enough list, or I wouldn't be able to grow it, or no one's going to sign up for it, because this keeps people stuck for years and years and years. So let's say you've got 100 subs, right? Subscribers, and your product is like £25, okay? Your email converts at 3%. So it's not perfect. It could do with a bit of zhuzhing. But, you know, it's modest. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's converting at the bottom end, okay? That, depending on how your emails are written, whether you're good at like the sales copy or that kind of stuff, that is 75 quid. 3 sales. Okay. Now, there are some things that affect that. Like, hey, if you're only sending 1 email a month, it's not really going to cut it, because you want to make sure that your email list is engaged. Okay. You don't want to, it's like showing up on Instagram and posting one reel and expecting to get views and sales. That ain't how it works. Okay. So if you only email like 1 email a week, so once a week, my handwriting is so bad. I'm so sorry. Oh dear. If you only email your list once a week, that from this is 150 extra a month. That's 1,800 a year. Okay. Just from 1 email a week. Do I need to say more? I feel like that is just amazing. So when people say, oh, I don't have enough subs, like, how am I going to do that? I'm always like, well, you don't really need it, because you need less people on there than your average Joe does, right? On Instagram or Facebook groups or business pages, especially at the moment, are really lacking in reach. It's only just getting worse, I feel like. Especially with especially with Facebook business pages, it is getting worse. So myth number 2. Let me do my little, and again, ask me any questions if you want me to bust a myth. Let me know. Is what is this? It's got a little freaking ruler on there now. Oh my god! Right. Instagram is better. Instagram is more powerful. So I love Instagram, and I would never give it up in terms of like a traffic source, because for me, I love Instagram. I think there's so many different content types. I absolutely love it. But I do love email just that little smidge more, okay? Because if you've got 100 followers, right? Let me try that again. Oh, so funny. If you've got 100 followers, maybe 5 to 10 of those that's supposed to be an eyeball, see your post. Okay. If you've got 100 subs, email, maybe 40 to 50 open the email. In fact, our open rates consistently sit at 50 to 60%. So when you're looking at these two things here, who's actually seeing more of you, more of your stuff? Okay. Who's more likely to buy? Because buying intent, right, how am I going to do this? I'm still learning. Okay. Oh no. How do I move something on this? Oh my god. Right, just stop being... I want to move it. Does anyone know iPad? Can anyone tell me like the iPad law? Because I swear you did... Oh, right, it's with your finger. Okay. We got there. So, the intent matters here as well, okay? Because people who are on Instagram, they are not there with a buying intent. Meaning they are just scrolling and they are just like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna like things that I see. I want to see cute cat videos. I want to see like videos about the news. I want to see some funny things. They're not there to buy. People on your email list, they do have a buying intent. Buying intent. I'll put yes. No. There, okay? So that also matters as well. The context behind this matters, right? You've just given me the kick up the bum. I need to start my email newsletter. It's been on my to-do list. Yeah, you do, for sure. What I would suggest is the days of new newsletters have kind of gone now. So, like, if I were you, and be honest with me, would you sign up for an email newsletter where the brand is going to be sending you updates from them, products from them, blah, 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 blah? Would you sign up for that? Or would you more than likely sign up for a freebie in exchange for, would you sign up to get like sneaky peeks, first offers, discount codes, stuff along those lines? When people say email newsletter, there is that little part of me that's like, oh, newsletter, would I sign up for that? And I wouldn't be a very good coach if I was like, yeah, do a newsletter, expecting you to hit numbers like, crying out loud, numbers like these with a newsletter. I'm not entirely certain that you would. However, if you were giving people value up front, that is where I'd go, okay, yeah, that is where it's at, okay? Right, let's do this last myth then, and I will answer some questions. So, myth number 3 that I've got here is email is salesy. Now, you know by now that I don't like being salesy when it's like uncalled for. However, if I have a product that I know it's going to help people, and I know that in my bones, like I know it's fantastic value, I know that it's going to help people, I know that the people on my list who are saying, you know, this, whatever, struggling with, I don't know, for example, relaxing, struggling with jewelry that is not too like Primarky, not too samey, not too fashionable, or maybe people who are struggling with their baby's teething, I am going to show up to that list with the intention of like, I'm just bringing you something that I know is going to help you with the problem that you have. Okay. So when I see people saying, oh, I don't want to be too salesy, I think it's because in our heads, we're always like, okay, I've been sold to in a gross, disgusting, I need to take a hot shower way before. And at this point, I'm brandishing, selling under that. I'm thinking selling equals gross, and that's not the case at all. What I want you to think of sales as is almost like a matchmaker. There's you, your brand, your product, and there's the person who desperately needs it the most. So like, let's say this is you, okay? And these are the people that need your product the most. All selling in the good way is literally being like, hey, I know you've got this particular problem. I know it's driving you up the wall. I know that it's driving you bananas. I know that it's a real issue. Maybe you were aware of it. Maybe you weren't. Okay. But the product that I have, let's just call that a product. The product that I have is going to help you with that. Feel free to opt in if you want. You don't have to, but it's there if you want it. Okay. That is the best way to sell. Okay. Now, also as well, we're not selling in every single email. Okay. We're adding value. Okay. So it then becomes like, oh, if I need to start an email list, it's going to be like, every single email is going to be sell, buy this thing. And that is not the case at all. We want to treat this and think of this the same way as we treated or we thought as socials, where you're not rocking up and being like, buy my thing every single day. You're just not. Okay. Most people buy, and I'm going to write here, trust. Okay. Most people buy because they trust you in some way, shape, or form. All right. How on earth are you supposed to do that as a brand if you're not communicating with your target audience outside of them going on to Etsy to search? Okay. Now, this whole trust thing is massive in 2026. Okay. Because people have got so sick and tired of being sold to aggressively, disgustingly so all the time, that they are like, I'm only going to buy from those who I trust. It's kind of going back to that whole like 100 years ago when people used to buy from their local butcher. They used to buy from their local hardware store. They used to buy from like places locally to them, because they trusted them, because their parents went there, because their friends went there, because like there was this initial like trust building thing that had happened as a result of this, right? So again, going back to how you're communicating with your customers outside of Etsy, outside of your website, outside of Made Me, not on the high street, wherever it is you sell, how on earth are you supposed to do that when you cannot build that trust with emails, with posts, with things where you show up and you tell a story, or you explain / give value, where you are showing not telling, where you're just documenting your journey. Like, that's one of my favorite email types. Fun fact, every month I go to a coffee shop and I put my earbuds in, I play some like beach sounds, whatever, and I just write what has happened to me throughout that month, with the intention of using it to tell stories over email, right? So it's really something that I would, if I were in your shoes, I would consider, okay? And you know, it's not necessarily just talking about email. It's also talking about communicating and making sure that you are building, get my pencil, you are building this trust. This is so important. Like, this need for trust. And when people trust you, a natural extension of that is sales, but not in a gross way. Not in a gross way. Is this all making sense? Let me know. Suzanne says, what do you think about using an email list for a quarterly seasonal subscription? So each quarter would be a small curated bundle inspired by the season. I love that. So it's kind of like a membership subscription type thing. Yeah, no, that is really, really good. As always, though, I would make sure that it's something that people have genuinely expressed interest for, or something that you know your target audience really, really wants or needs. You know, and that's the same with any product creation, right? You only really want to create things that people have either gone, oh, do you do this? Or can you do this multiple times? Or something where you're like, people haven't asked me for it, but they've kind of asked for iterations of it, different versions of it, or it's an idea that I've had to help solve a problem that people keep telling me they have. Does that make sense? Would we expect new subscribers and would previous ones block emails from you? I'm not sure what you mean, Kay. Would we expect new subscribers and would previous ones block emails from you? People can block emails, but I wouldn't expect people to. Maybe rephrase your question. I'm not 100% sure. Is this making sense though, right? Does this make sense? Okay. Okay. Let me just make sure I have covered everything. So if you've got any questions, let me know. Next week, we have something really exciting coming up to help you with this, because I really wanted this to be like a 2-week run, a 2-week series, if you like, of helping you with this, of actually just getting this thing started and getting it started off on the right foot. Because as you can imagine, you can't build trust without having some kind of relationship outside of your shop. Okay. And the best, most cleanest way to do that is through email. You can do it on social media for sure, but then you have some kind of algorithm there. Email has an algorithm as well, but it's less annoying and it's not as cut and dry. You know what I mean? And I hope that you're going to look at this and kind of go, okay, I can understand why that would be a good idea for me, and I can kind of understand that now. Okay. So I think the the wonderful thing about email is that it is boring, but in a nice way. It is predictable, and it is profitable, right? So boring is like, it's just words on a screen, okay? Predictable is that conversion rate chugs along pretty happily. Profitable is like, for every £1 that you spend is like £36 back, okay? And if you want to Google this, you can. The information is all on there. So if you want to like have a little Google of that, you can have a little look. I'm going to be talking more next Monday. I'm going to be doing a live talking about this as well. Talking more about and showing you more of like, how do I start this? How do I get people to sign up? Like more of like the how. Today I wanted to cover why should you give a crap about this. I wanted to share numbers. I wanted to share all that stuff. So I'm not going to go too in depth into like the how, because I really wanted you to be like, I want to see like real numbers. I want to be able to know that if I'm putting effort into this thing, that it's going to, like, the numbers are going to hit, it's going to be worth it, all that kind of stuff. So I really want to talk more about the how and stuff next week. And I actually want to bring it up on screen and actually show you a bit more of like what the plan would actually look like. Right. Yes, thanks. You're welcome, Suzanne. I'm curious about the same as Charlotte. How can we promote our email list on Etsy when you can't redirect people off of Etsy? Okay, so the where people get confused about this, and I actually spoke to Etsy myself, and actually I would recommend you guys do the exact same thing for two reasons. Number one, you can screenshot it, so if there is ever any comeback, I've never had anything, but if there is, you have the screenshots. You're like, evidence, okay? The second reason is to like satisfy your own brain, okay? Me and the team recently did this. We've done it 3 or 4 times where we've spoken to them and we've gone, hey, email list, da 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 da. Now, where people get confused is the official rule is that you cannot redirect people off of Etsy to complete the transaction. That is something called fee avoidance, okay? That is where you're getting the traffic from Etsy. You're like, yeah, great, thanks. Then you're taking them off. So you can't turn around to people and go, buy this on my own website because it's like 20 quid cheaper. Or, yes, sign up for my email list, but check out like on my own website. If you are offering some kind of discount code saying complete the transaction on Etsy, if you want a discount code, if you want this thing, whatever, complete the transaction on Etsy still, but here's like an extra goodie discount code, whatever. Etsy have told me multiple times that is fine. However, I am going to say, I would suggest that you live chat with Etsy and you ask them this yourself for those 2 reasons that I mentioned before. Because I think that it's always good to have that in your screenshot bank. If ever there is any issues, you've got it. Okay. Also as well, I think it's just always good to hear it directly from the horse's mouth. But in my personal experience, as long as you're not saying, oh, you can buy it cheaper on my website, or come over here and I'll do it. Like, you're not avoiding fees. You're not really taking them anywhere. You're only sending them to a sign up page and then they're coming right back to Etsy again. So Kay says, I assume they can leave your list when they don't like emails. Yeah. So yeah, like people can unsubscribe. I think that's basically like the same thing. So people can opt out in some way, shape or form. Yeah. I see a lot of people using Substack now. Is this the same as normal newsletter or just a whole new thing? It's kind of, I haven't explored it that much, if I'm being honest with you. It's basically like a newsletter that people can opt in for and that they can pay for. But the issue that I have with any platform like that is that you don't own it. So like with our email list, I can download that and I can take that wherever I go. If I decide to move to the moon, I can take that list and I have people who know the brand, who are interested, who want to buy. Okay. The issue with Substack is that I'm not 100% sure that you can do that and you can just take your subscribers and da-da-da-da-da. I think it's really a case of just finding what feels good to you. I'm going to actually, what have I done? I'm going to do it orange because I know that there's a couple of people asking about the whole Etsy thing. So with Etsy, okay, go on live chat and ask. 1, for your own peace of mind, and 2, for screenshots. because you're basically asking Etsy permission to be able to do that. So I'm going to leave that up on screen. But when we created our course on email, which was not that long ago, November, we went on live chat with them again, and we asked them again, and they were like, yeah, as long as you're not doing the whole fee avoidance thing, you know. But I would 100% always, before doing this, go on live chat with Etsy yourself, because I just think, I know that sometimes doing new things with Etsy accounts can feel really, really scary. So I just think for you guys, for the sake of 5 minutes, maybe 10, you've then got your answer and you know 100%. I've got MailerLite account, but not really done anything with it other than a welcome email, because I don't understand what different things mean, campaigns, automations. Okay, right. So for now, ignore everything. Campaigns only. Okay? I can explain the differences between them, but to be honest with you, the only two you need to know, campaigns are one-off emails that you send. That's the one you want to go for right now. Automations are things like, okay, when someone does this, it then sends this, or it does this. Don't need that at the moment, but it might be handy. Workflows, I think, is like their answer to when this thing is triggered, it does this next thing, and it subscribes this person, it unsubscribes that person. Forms is like the sign up forms, you know? So I wouldn't necessarily, I would just ignore everything but campaigns. Perfect. Thank you. Makes sense. Yeah, Ria, I get it. I do. Like the whole Etsy thing, like redirecting people. It's mainly for like the whole fee avoidance. I was like feel avoidance, feed avoidance, fee avoidance. So you absolutely do not want to do the whole fee avoidance thing. And I think that's where they kind of came up with that blanket thing of like, do not redirect people off of Etsy. Because yeah, it was a thing before when people were like, okay, I am going to get someone to come into Etsy. I'm going to redirect them to my own website. Yeah. How is the best way of getting subscribers from your Etsy buyers, i.e. a slip when you package orders? Yes, that's one way to do it. I'm going to go into that a little bit more next week, because I do feel like that's a whole other thing in and of itself. But today, I really wanted to talk about the numbers, how to do it, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, what to expect, all that kind of stuff. But yes, I grew my email list purely with Etsy alone for about 3 years. And it was great because it was automatic. It just worked. And it was in like a real easy breezy way. So that's how I would do it for sure. I wouldn't necessarily, and social media as well. Like, let's not brush over that. Etsy's great, but also like social media, you can offer something on their list, discount code, whatever, and get people to sign up through there. Yeah, I just think having multiple different ways for them to join is a good idea. And actually, like, in terms of when you have your list, this is how I like to think of like the hierarchy of like how you want to promote things. So the first thing is that you want is sales, obviously. The second thing is email list. List. Sign up. The third thing is social media follow. And that would be like the hierarchy of what I would want as a business owner. Okay. So let me explain this. So the first thing we all want is we want people to find us and buy stuff. That's great. And that's fine. The second thing is I would want them to sign up to my email list, because then I'm like, okay, they haven't bought, But if they don't buy yet, if they sign up to my email list, I know at some point they most likely will. And I think that's the key thing here. If you don't get that initial sale, but they join... Oh, hello. Hello. What's going on here? Go back. Rub out. Oh, for crying out loud. Hang on. Jeez Louise, this has been difficult. Right, if you don't get that initial sale and you're sad about it, please do not be if you have your email list, because chances are, if they ain't buying on that first initial point here, they're going to buy at some point if they are an engaged email subscriber. If you don't have an email list for whatever reason, and I really hope after watching this, you're like, that's crazy, I need to have an email list. Absolutely crazy. I would go, okay, yeah, the next best thing would be to follow me on social media. Problem is with social media as well is that you do have a lot of competition on there as well, whereas email you kind of don't. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I really hope this has made sense. What copious amounts of notes we've taken today. Look at all this. I'm just going to go through... I'm just going to like gradually scroll through it again, just so you can refresh, you can screenshot if you want. But I really hope that as a result of this live, you've been able to go, yes, okay, I'm now understanding the game plan for 2026. Like I'm now understanding that actually this whole email listing I can no longer sort of ignore. Maybe I need to give it a fair old go. All right. Okay. So I will be live, same place, same time next week. We're going to be going over the game plan. Something really exciting is coming up. You definitely do not want to miss it. So if you do have any follow-up questions or anything like that, I would hold them, especially if they relate to like the how to do all of this. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you have enjoyed